Well, hello internets, here we are. Well, we come to the long-awaited part where the professionals take over and, well, get the job done. If you guys remember the previous parts of this here video series, I'll just give you a quick rundown. Well, got myself an older home here with about a 45 to 50 year old furnace in it, something that needs to be replaced. It's nowhere near reliable as it needs to be for our harsh Canadian winters, and it's starting to cost money in repairs, so the time has come to have it replaced. However, one thing leads to another, and unless I'm willing to do modifications to my chimney to bring it up to code to keep a hot water heater that's about 2 years away from expiring, we will have to change the hot water heater as well. Of course, doing that's going to open up a little bit of cans of worms because we're relocating the gas line, relocating the water line, and of course having to cap off the old chimney so nothing gets down and in. But that's why we hire the professionals. That's why they get paid the money they do to do the job they do. And well, it'll be what it is. So of course, gonna go and get them going and rolling. I'll try to shoot whatever footage I can, but whatever footage I get will be what it is. Okay guys, so here we go. Welcome to the disaster zone. They're down here working. However, they stopped for a bit of a lunch break. This is the new furnace. It's much shorter than the old one by far, and well, probably about half the size. They bent up a new box for the filter, and now they got to adapt the new furnace to, well, the old ductwork. They got some of the venting and stuff being ran. I'm not sure which one is the intake and which one is the exhaust and such. I am glad I used a full sheet of plywood for the hot water heater, because it looks like they are utilizing the whole full sheet of plywood than the half sheet that I was going to use. They've ran a PEX line all the way around. Looks like they got a hot line going here and a cold line, of course, running around the room to the supply meter at the other side. Sorry if I sound distracted, but I'm just kind of looking in on everything and looking at all the new lines and stuff that they are running and what they've cut and stuff like that. Little bit of a mess going on, little bit of a disaster. However, sometimes you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, and I'm sure by the time tomorrow rolls around, everything will be done and cleaned up. This is where the water comes into the house. As you see, there is the meter down there, and there was supposed to be the original piece of copper right there. And it used to run all the way up and into the void, which would be all the way back there. But as you see now, they got a blue piece of PEX there. Looks like they're in the process here of jackhammering out a piece of block. I'm not 100% sure if that's supposed to be a vent out there or what it is, but they've created quite a disaster. Took my bicycle off the hook, but hey, that's the way she is. If I would have known, I could have moved some more stuff, but I didn't quite know what exactly they were doing. You should have seen the guys when they were trying to grunt the old furnace up the stairs. That was definitely a chore. And the hot water heater is draining currently and unhooked almost, and it'll be the next one to go. So pretty much, guys, we'll stay out of their hair, let them do their job. There's no point in me being down here because I have no idea what to do or what they're doing. And well, around we roll. Well, hello internet. Here we are with a little bit of a update. Looks a bit different than it was the last time you seen it. Well, the dust has settled. The workers have left. Everything that is still here is, well, left for me. Well, as you see, the basement is kinda half put back into order. It is not 100% the way it was, or kind of how I would have liked to have seen it left. However, it's kind of the way they left it. They got the furnace installed, completely now installed with the fresh air intake, the exhaust and all that good stuff. I'm not 100% sure on, well, some of the things they did, whether it's, you know, the way they should have been done, or the way it, I guess, they did it, I guess. You know, there's a few concerns, but I may address them. I may talk to their boss and see if that's the way that, you know, it is, well, could have been done or could be done better. One thing here is they put the one fresh air intake or room temperature air kind of a little bit low, so you do tend to bang your head on it. I personally would have moved it over and mounted it onto that wall there, because then everything would have been the same height. But I guess, you know, it is what it is. The furnace itself, well, looks real nice. It's like half the size of the old one, and it actually does a really, really nice job. It has kicked on a few times, so you know it does work. Well, they did have the aluminum tape out and did stick some of it in. Some of the tape has stuck down, other corners haven't. They did peel duct tape off of the original ductwork. However, they didn't put any aluminum tape in place. And there are some holes like, you know, this and stuff that, you know, I feel should be patched. However, you know, they didn't seem to do it, even though they did put aluminum tape up along this edge here, but then missed, you know, a hole like that. Well, the ductwork over here, the original piece, they didn't touch. But it would have been nice, you know, if they would have, you know, peeled away the duct tape and put aluminum tape there. But again, that is very, very minor. That's something that I can handle without, well, obviously causing too much of an issue. Well, this is the on-demand or tankless hot water heater. It sure took up more room than what I was expecting, so I'm kind of glad that I did what I did when I built this little wall. One of the weird things is they didn't wire it into the breaker box. They kind of just plugged it into a plug-in, which I guess will work as long as the circuit doesn't get overloaded and then trip the breaker. So we will have to see the longevity of that. You know, they have both the intake and the exhaust run for the hot water heater, as well as new PEX crimpings or fittings running to where they need to go. They did a little bit of a rejigging or retooling on the original copper line that went here, because originally the hot of the copper hooked up to the plumbing over, around, and back to there, which would have been the bathroom sink. But instead they got it hooking up over to here underneath the, instead they got it hooking up over to here underneath the kitchen sink. And looks like the cold supply line comes in and goes around, but then it tees off onto here, where again that would have been onto the bathroom sink as well. And both of these appliances require what they call a condensate pump, which I guess water drips into there and then it gets pumped up the clear plastic line as you see there, and it looks like it runs all the way over and makes a turn and then goes that way. Same with the furnace. This is the line for the furnace. It has its own pump and it goes up and over, and then they both meet up kind of over here and then run over the floor drain, which then they kind of just drop and dangle there, kind of in the way for the future plans, but at the same time I guess it kind of does work. They did undo the grounding strap that was put on by the electrician, so I'm not sure what that means and what that is supposed to do, but you know, it is what it is, right? I will probably end up retooling these plastic lines, you know, this one here and this one here, probably get them to come over here and then drop down, and have them hook up or tee into where the washer pumps out into. Then that way we don't have the clutter over here. But they did get rid of the original hot water heater, hauled it up and out, which is definitely a plus. It does open up a little bit of room there, not as much as I was hoping for, but once the chimney's out of there, there will be even that much more. They did cap and silicone up the chimney hole, the vent hole, so then nothing can come in, whether it's a bird or a critter, or nothing can go out, and I guess it'll all be good to go there. Well, other than a few little concerns that I may or may not bring up to the boss just to see if they can be retooled or changed, everything looks good. Everything looks like, well, it functions. It would have been nice with a little bit of more cleanup. They left some cardboard down here. Those pieces there, as well as, you know, foam from what I'm assuming is the hot water heater. They did do their best to pick up some of their garbage. You know, there is obviously dust from you know, them drilling, and all these little rings. They must have had a can of spray foam or something wherever they sealed up. There is a few chunks of concrete on the outside of the house that would have been nice if they could have been picked up, but it's once again nothing that I can't handle. There is you know, a bit of a gap around this exhaust here that I'll have to spray foam, and I think I see through the viewfinder a little bit of daylight, so that'll have to be remedied as well. This one has daylight as well, so we'll have to deal with that. And this one here looks like they might have a fairly decent seal on it, but I will squirt some spray foam in there. Just keeps the cold air from getting in, and any critters as well. Looks like they got a little bit of, what is it, ABS or so glue on my air conditioner. That wasn't expected, but I guess it is what it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, viewing their work, you know, I'd probably give it about a 9. It's a little bit of the cleanup would have been nice to have had more, but I guess the more time they spend here, the higher the bill would be. But it is what it is. You know, they were very respectful of my property and respectful of the house. You know, they did wear their boots up and down the stairs, but it's nothing that a vacuum can't handle. And there was a lot of people here and a lot of vehicles here, so they you know, drove on the driveway and walked on the deck and stuff, but it's just what happens this time of year with all the wet. Things tend to get a little bit more dirty. But this concludes the furnace replacement and hot water replacement. In the future, these will hopefully benefit the family and everything that, well, I've kind of worked towards, because the old ones weren't very efficient. So, thanks for coming along on this video journey. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.